Healer, which I think is actually a pretty good movie. I haven't seen it in a while, but he was in that also before this. I think that was the film right before this one. But yeah, I don't think he was a well-known. He wasn't a huge actor like he is now, of course. But I think this was right like in the beginning of his rise to stardom.
Yeah, 4 years after he got fucking Captain America, dude. Like, that's pretty dope. But yeah, dude, this story has a very good, like everyone's talking about, we'll just call it a twist. It fucking twists the fuck out of itself. But, which I thought that was a good part of the movie, but not to blame the writer. What was the writer's name?
Alex Garland.
But like you said, Wes, that you got to kind of take the sciencey part out, like to enjoy this. But when Pinbacker got up, when I first saw Pinbacker, fucking Kappa fucking literally gets him obliterated by the sun. And my first thought, see, the problem with this movie is that you think a lot for these types of film. And my first thought was, why wasn't that fucker blind? I know he was supposed to be some psychopath, but he was just human. I thought right there the writing could have been a little edged out. Like maybe just, but it's something you could ignore. You know what I mean? Yeah, dude, it's very deep film. Dude, I was kind of like, is there going to be any hope? But there was. This film is really good because it gives you hope at the end, especially what we can see happen for the Earth. It looks like we were going through like another ice age.
Right.
If that's what we could see.
Yeah, the ending takes place when those kids are playing in the snow. That's in Australia.
Yeah. That's cool. But yeah, and I also agree with was that you, James, explaining about the glitches about Mark Strong? I like that.
Yeah, just the way when they do that, the film.
Because they could have done something totally more perfect for the film, but I like that stuff because it's like he's a psychopath, and I think something like this is way before VHS where they have the glitch killer, but like when we normally see people that are psychopaths, we don't see them the same as probably like other people, so maybe that's also why it looked like that, you know what I mean? So, yeah, man, Sunshine, dude. I think probably the most underrated sci-fi film, if not like of all time, dude, because of how unrecommended it is to many people, I would say. But yeah, dude, I think it is a film at least everyone should check out twice because we've been talking about that. It's very hard to follow at first. Yeah, and plus, for me, when on the first time watched through, I just think the movie is heading in so many different directions, but it has its own, it goes in its own way, which is pretty dope. And I think, yeah, dude, I think 77 on Ryan, it should have been like 80s, like 83, I think, would have been good. Because I think the writing could have been edged out a little more. Just for but that's, like I said, it's small because of the way the Pinbackers, I don't know why he should have been blind, dude. And he was just a fucking human with 6 astronauts, but he wasn't insane, man. I don't know. It was dope though. I think this movie is still like an A+ for me, but it's a small thing that I have to talk about, you know what I mean? So, yeah. What would you guys' favorite scenes be? I know mine was when that one dude, I forget his name. He was the guy that was like a kind of like a coward, but like he was still the captain,
second in command.
Yeah, second in command. My favorite part is when he fucking dies because of how hopeless to die in space it looks. Because he freezes to death first of all, and you see him take his final moments, his final breath. He's just fucking inhaling like what did they say, like 300
negative
below whatever
200 degrees or something.
Yeah, dude. And then you just see him like hit the side of the ship. He fucking busts, and then he goes into the fucking like edge of the shield, and then he gets engulfed, dude. I'm like, fuck, dude, like
incinerated.
Go. to kill this guy, dude. I thought that was pretty fun. I could see why, like, Wes talked about, like, some of the more like, I guess things that would really happen. They would do that to give it more like a wow factor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was pretty dope. It was pretty good. I like that. I like when fools brutally die like that.
I want to say probably one of my. I got a couple favorite scenes, but one of them is probably when Kaneda, the captain, he's like, "Well, I got to go up on the shield and repair the panels that are broken." And he's like, I need volunteers. And he's like, well, I'll go. And then Chris Evans' character, May, stands up and he's like, I volunteer, Kappa. Yeah. And he's like, you think because he's standing up, he's getting ready to volunteer, but he's like, I volunteer, Kappa. And then everyone's like looking at Kappa, and Kappa's just like, well, fuck, okay. I mean, like, this is my fault, I guess, for saying that we should do this. But I thought that was really hilarious for him to just. That's when you're like, oh, this guy's an asshole. Like, he doesn't care. Like, he's not going to be the one to sacrifice himself for the betterment of the team. But later on, he kind of gets that
redemption.
When he does redemption, yeah, that's the word I'm trying to think of. He gets that redemption later on when Pinbacker pulls out the where they're like
coolant,
the mainframes or whatever. Yeah, from the coolant. They start overheating, but he has to go into this freezing cold water and lower them by hand back into the water because the servers are broken. But and he ends up getting trapped in there and dying. But I thought that was a really cool full circle type of thing where you get to see him that redemption for his character at least. His
acting chops were good right there. Like, he had to act like he was fucking cold from coolant, dude. Like, like he was in a big fucking pool of coolant. Imagine doing that shit.
Well, in the beginning of the movie, you get to eat. It's kind of like a foreshadowing almost, because he's working on those in the beginning of the movie, and he drops his wrench, and then as it's sinking, he reaches in and pulls it out really quick, and then you see like his hand is like there's like ice forming on his hand, and like to me that was kind of like a way of foreshadowing his own death, like he was going to go in there.
Yeah. Also, when I don't know if this was a favorite scene, but when he has to survive with Kappa and second in command and dive through from ship to ship, that was really excellent. Probably impossible, but fucking dope, to be honest. I wouldn't think of that. I don't know if it would work in real life, but fuck. And his hand gets scolded, just dumb, dude. Like,
he gets frostbite on his fingers.
Yeah, that's also foreshadowing. Yeah, that's kind of dope. You noticed that? I didn't really catch on to that. That's pretty cool. And I mean, he was gonna get fucking frozen, just brutally, dude. His legs got fucking frozen, and then the whole drive just lands on that leg that got stuck, dude. Like, that sucks, dude.
Yeah,
you had to go out like Captain America, though.
I like how Kappa was having those dreams of dying in the sun, which inevitably happens. But I thought that was pretty cool too.
Yeah, because I get those falling dreams, but not them falling into the sun ones, dude. Like, I don't think that's ever happened. So, yeah, dude, I think being in space that long, close enough to the sun, my dreams are gonna be a little twisted. I don't know. Like, fuck. That's why I was like, damn, is this gonna be one of those no hope movies? But it ended up surprising me, dude. It's pretty dope.
What about you, Wes? Did you have a favorite scene or something for you?
I think I got two. My first one is the one that just an artist was talking about, where they know that they could probably die on the Icarus one, so then they're like, let's try the trajectory jump. There's only one suit, so then they wrap themselves in foil. I think it's Harvey and Mace. They don't have the suit, only Kappa, and they rule out that Kappa's, he's got to be the one to survive no matter what, because he's a physicist. He's the only one who knows how to even ignite the payload, so he has to win. He has to make it back to the ship. to fucking to save humanity, essentially. So, and then you get to see kind of the cowardice of Harvey, where he tries to kind of square up. Yes,
Kappa gets the suit.
Yeah, kind of square up like a kind of like a little, like you guys were saying, like a pussy, where he tries to, kind of strong arm Kappa into getting out of the suit. Kappa's not really affected, and that's when they talk to Cassie, and she says, I can't say for certain, but with the trajectory, you guys have a straight shot where maybe you can make it, and then they inevitably do it, but then what's his name, Seal, I think, is he has to stay behind because he has to open the gate manually, correct? Do you guys remember that?
Yeah, he's the one who has to stay behind because the door, it's malfunctioned. There's no remote opening for the door, actually.
Yeah, so he sacrifices himself, and then so I love that shot when they do it. It's so fast, and then you just see Harvey kind of hit the side, and he doesn't make the door, and he just goes floating off into space, and he obviously you can't hold your breath for that long, and he finally just has to succumb to space. So it's fun, like Tiny was saying, to see the philosophy of what might happen out there, and the brutal death is cool. But then the way that those two are able, Maces actually comes out and survives something like that is insane. The way that they pull that off, I love that the cinematography of that. It reminded me of Gravity, the Sandra Bullock movie, which is also very great. You should check that out if you haven't. And then, of course, the end when Kappa comes through and ignites the payload and basically is engulfed in the sun. I thought that was beautifully shot. And going back to what James said, all of the scenes, the way the CGI that they use for representing the sun is so gorgeous, and you totally buy it. It doesn't look cheap. It doesn't look fake. Like, however they did this is so stunning for 2007. This was 13 years ago, Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think it's on par with, just the little effects that they do show. I want to say the majority of the special effects are put into when they show the sun and things like that, but I think it's on par with Interstellar, like you had mentioned earlier. It's very reminiscent of that. And I really did like the scene where they have that viewing of Mercury as it's passing in between them and the sun.
Yeah, their radio.
Yeah, I thought that was actually really cool for them to kind of see that, and then also that gnarly ass scene at the end, very very end of the movie, when Kappa is fighting Pinbacker, and Cassie jumps on I guess it's Kappa's back, or Pinbacker, one of them, to pull Kappa off, and then you see like Pinbacker's entire layer of skin on his arm just rip off.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Which was like that leathery skin, and then you see all the blood everywhere. It was that was actually pretty cool.
They kind of go full Clive Barker Hellraiser right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was a really interesting for them to do that, and like you said, I do agree that third act was more of probably the last 20 minutes was or 15 minutes was like a slasher, a space slasher film.
Yep.
Yeah, I got very sometimes in the CGI, like it went Interstellar / to like sometimes Alien / to like sometimes like Johnny Mnemonic sometimes. So I thought that was pretty fun. They just messed around, like not messed around, but they did it so well to where like made it look good. You know what I mean? Like throughout the whole movie. But nothing. I think this CGI is very good compared to most films these days. I don't know why I did, but they just did it so well. Like,
because it's
some
fucking.
Some of the more practical stuff was nice.
It's fucking Danny Boyle, man. I don't know. I can't. I don't think I could name a bad movie that he's done.
A bad Danny Boyle?
Nope.
ICARUS, stabilize us!